My sister stood in my gravel driveway, arms crossed, designer heels sinking into the dirt. "You owe me half. Half of that $12 million. I stared at her. This was the same woman who refused to attend my wedding 3 years ago. The same sister who told our mother I was marrying a dirt farmer and embarrassing the family name. The same person who blocked my number and removed me from every family photo. Now she wanted half. She actually said the word "oh." How does someone who called your life an embarrassment suddenly claim they deserve a cut when money shows up? How does cruelty turn into equity that fast? I didn't answer her that day, but I had 3 years of screenshots. Bank statements, emails, recorded voicemails. I had receipts. Before we get into what happened next, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from and what time it is. And if you love a good receipt story, hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to see how this plays out. Let me take you back to where it all started. I grew up in a family obsessed with appearances. Country club memberships, designer labels, strategic marriages. My mother used to say, "We don't just live well. We look like we live well." Image was everything. I met Daniel at a sustainable agriculture conference 5 years ago. I was there researching a community archive project. He was presenting on soil restoration and regenerative farming. He was brilliant, kind, calm in a way I had never seen in my own family. He also wore work boots that were actually dirty. My family hated him on sight. My sister laughed when I brought him to Sunday dinner. "So he plays in the dirt for a living?" My mother pulled me aside. "You can do better. This is beneath you." I told them I loved him. They told me I was throwing my life away. When I got engaged, my mother rewrote her will and mailed me a copy. There was a highlighted sentence. "Due to choices that do not reflect family values, I am removing you as a beneficiary." My sister didn't come to my wedding. Neither did my mother. My aunt sent a card that said, "Good luck. You'll need it." I married Daniel anyway, and I kept everything. Every text, every voicemail, every cruel email. I'm a librarian by training. E-catalog. I preserve, I save. I thought I had made peace with losing them. Then, 3 years later, the soil report came back. Daniel's family farm, the one everyone mocked, sat on top of a massive oil and natural gas reserve. Everything changed. 2 weeks after the oil company made their offer, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't pick up. "Sweetheart, it's Mom." I hadn't heard her voice in 3 years. No apology, no acknowledgement. Just, "We need to talk about this wonderful opportunity." She wanted a family meeting. At the farm, to discuss how we move forward together. I should have said no, but part of me wanted to believe she had changed. She arrived on a Saturday morning with my sister. My sister brought a friend who turned out to be a paralegal. They sat at our kitchen table, the same table they had refused to eat at for years. My sister pulled out a printed document. "We put together an equity distribution plan, just to keep things fair." I looked at the page. It had percentages. It had our names. It had the phrase, "Family Limited Liability Company." She slid it across the table. 50% to Mom and me. You and Daniel can keep 25%. The rest goes into a family trust that we manage for everyone's benefit. I blinked. This is Daniel's land. His family's land. My sister smiled. "And your family." "We all are. Family shares." Daniel's jaw tightened. He didn't say a word. My mother leaned forward. "You wouldn't even have stability without us. We raised you. This is just fairness." I asked them to leave. My sister stood up slowly. "We'll give you 1 week to think about it. After that, we explore legal options." Then they walked out. 3 days later, a thick envelope arrived. Certified mail. Return address. A law firm 2 towns over. Inside was a cease and desist letter addressed to me and Daniel. It claimed we had verbally promised to share any financial windfall from the property. It said my family had contributed to wedding expenses and were therefore entitled to consideration. Both claims were lies, but they were in a legal letter, on fancy paper, with a lawyer's signature. It felt real, It felt huge. Then my aunt started talking. She told people at church that Daniel and I were cutting the family out, that we had changed, that money had made us cruel. The whispers started. I ran into a neighbor at the grocery store. She looked at me and looked away. The oil company's representative called Daniel. We're hearing about some family disputes. We need clear title before we move forward. If there's any ownership question, this could delay due diligence for months. I sat at our kitchen table that night, staring at the letter. Daniel put his hand on mine. Maybe we should just give them something. Make it stop. I looked at him. I looked at the letter, and I thought I've already lost. I was wrong. I went upstairs and opened my laptop. I pulled up a folder I had been keeping since our engagement. Wedding expenses, every vendor invoice, every bank transfer, every receipt. Daniel and I paid for our wedding ourselves. Every single cent. The venue, our joint account. The catering, our joint account. The flowers, the photographer, the modest reception, all us. Not $1 came from my family. And I had proof. I scrolled further. I found the email my mother sent 3 weeks before the wedding. Subject line, final warning. Body. If you go through with this farce, don't expect a dime from us. You're on your own. I took a screenshot. I attached the invoice folder. I attached the email. I sent it all to a lawyer I had quietly consulted 2 days earlier. My message was one line. They are lying under penalty of perjury. She replied in 10 minutes. This is very strong. Do you have more documentation? I looked at my archive. 3 years of texts, 3 years of voicemails, 3 years of rejection. I typed back, yes, I have 3 years worth. Her response was immediate. Good, let's build the case. I finally let myself breathe. My sister did not back down. She escalated. She called the co-op where Daniel sold his grain. She hinted that we were financially unstable and might lose the farm. She wanted to spook his business relationships. The co-op treasurer called Daniel. Hey, just checking in. Heard some concerns. Everything okay, Daniel reassured him. But I saw the worry in his eyes. Then she went public, sort of. She posted on Facebook. Nothing direct. Just vague, sympathy-hunting messages. It's hard when family changes overnight. Praying for those who forget where they came from. Money reveals character. People liked the posts. People commented with heart emojis. No one knew she was talking about us. But I knew. My mother took a different approach. She sent a handwritten letter to the CEO of the oil company. I only found out because their legal department forwarded it to our contact. In the letter, she claimed she had a verbal family trust stake in the land. She said any deal made without her consent could be disputed. It was nonsense. Legally, it had no weight. But it was enough to make the oil company nervous. They sent us an email. Professional, polite, firm. We need absolute clarity on ownership and title before we can proceed to closing. Any cloud on the title will delay or void this transaction. The closing date got pushed back. I felt the walls closing in again. But this time, I wasn't afraid. I was ready. I sent my lawyer a second folder. This one was bigger. Screenshots of every cruel text message my sister and mother had sent over 3 years. My sister, the day after my wedding. Enjoy your poverty cosplay. Don't come crying to us when it falls apart. My mother, 6 months later. You've made your bed. Lie in it. My sister again, after I sent a Christmas card. Stop pretending we're family. Message after message. All dated. All saved. Then I sent the disinheritance email. The one my mother mailed with her revised will. Due to failure to uphold family standards, you are removed as a beneficiary. Signed, dated, notarized acknowledgement attached. And finally, the deed. The county land deed for Daniel's family farm. Recorded ownership going back 4 generations. Clear title? No co-owners, no disputes, no trusts. Just his family. Clean and unbroken since 1948. My lawyer called me that afternoon. This is airtight. They have no claim, none, and if they keep pushing, we can counterclaim for harassment. I asked her what we should do next. She paused. We go on offense. I smiled for the first time in 2 weeks. Let's do it. Before we moved forward, I needed to understand something. Why now? Why this desperation? My cousin Emily called me. She was the only family member who still talked to me, quietly. We met for coffee in a town 20 minutes away. She looked nervous. I need to tell you something. But you can't say it came from me, I promised. She took a breath. Your sister's husband, his commercial real estate business collapsed. 3 properties foreclosed. He's leveraged to the ceiling. They're about to lose their house. I felt my stomach drop. How much do they owe? Emily looked down. 1.9 million. Due in 6 months. She slid her phone across the table. A photo of a loan default notice. Your mom co-signed 2 of the loans. If he goes down, she goes down. Suddenly it all made sense. They didn't just want the money. They needed it. They were drowning. And they saw Daniel's land as the only lifeline. The cruelty. The legal threats. The public pressure. It was all panic. I didn't feel victorious. I felt sad, but I also felt clarity. I knew exactly what to do next. I met with my lawyer the next morning. We built a 3-part plan. First, a formal cease and desist letter to my mother and my sister, backed by every receipt I had. It would demand they retract all claims within 48 hours. If they refused, we would file for a declaratory judgment confirming Daniel's sole ownership. Second, a clean title opinion prepared by our attorney and delivered directly to the oil company. It would show clear chain of title and confirm no legitimate dispute existed. That would get the deal back on track. Third, a boundary letter. No contact. No reconciliation attempts. No social media mentions. No third-party intermediaries. If they violated it, we would file for a harassment restraining order. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to humiliate them. I wanted distance. And I wanted it in writing. My lawyer nodded. This is clean. This is smart. And this is enforceable. I signed the retainer that afternoon. We drafted everything over the next 2 days. The cease and desist was 8 pages. It cited every receipt, every text, every email, the deed, the wedding invoices, the disinheritance letter. It was airtight. I signed it on a Tuesday. By Thursday, everything had changed. My lawyer sent the cease and desist on Thursday morning. Certified mail. Email with red receipt. Courier to the law firm my mother had hired. It included every receipt as a labeled exhibit. Exhibit A. Wedding invoice archive and bank statements showing 0 family contributions. Exhibit B. Email from my mother dated April 14th, 2021. Quote, don't expect a dime. Exhibit C. Text message log, 2021 through 2024. Documented rejection and cruelty. Exhibit D. Disinheritance letter, notarized and signed. Exhibit E. County deed showing sole ownership by Daniel's family since 1948. Within 6 hours, my sister's paralegal friend called her. I know because my sister left me a voicemail. She was furious. You're making a huge mistake. This isn't over. But her lawyer had told her the truth. She had no case. And if she kept pushing, we could countersue. My mother's attorney went silent. Completely silent. The oil company received the title opinion on Friday morning. Their legal team reviewed it. By Friday afternoon, we were clear to close. The signing was scheduled for Monday. I thought it was over. Then Monday morning, my sister showed up at the title company office. She tried to walk into the conference room where we were signing. Security stopped her. She was holding a piece of paper. She called it a family arbitration petition. The oil company's lawyer stood up. He handed her a document we had prepared over the weekend, a pre-filed restraining order application, ready to submit if she made contact. Her face went pale. She looked at me. I looked back. I didn't say a word. She turned and left. We signed the mineral rights lease 10 minutes later. $12 million up front, plus royalties. The check cleared the next day. My phone stayed silent. For the first time in weeks, the silence felt like peace. We didn't post about it. We didn't gloat. We didn't send a message to my family saying we had won. We just moved forward. Daniel and I set up a foundation for sustainable agriculture education. It was his dream. We funded it with $2 million from the oil lease. We offer workshops. We provide scholarships for first-generation farmers. We support soil health research. It's quiet work, but it matters. 4 months later, my sister's husband declared bankruptcy. They lost the showcase house. They downsized to a rental 2 states away. My mother sold her house to cover the co-signed loans. She moved in with my aunt. I heard through Emily that my mother tells people I abandoned her, that I turned my back on family when they needed me most. I don't correct the record. I don't engage. I just let it sit. My sister sent one email about 6 months after everything settled. It wasn't an apology. It was an explanation. She said they were desperate. She said I should understand. She said family helps family. I didn't reply. I forwarded it to my lawyer, and then I archived it. Daniel and I still live on the farm. Same house, same gravel driveway. We upgraded equipment. We hired 3 full-time workers and pay them well above minimum wage. We host farm-to-table dinners twice a month. The oil revenue sits in a trust managed by professionals who are not related to us. We live comfortably. We live quietly. We live on our terms. Emily still visits. We have coffee. We talk about books and gardens and life. I unblocked her number. Everyone else stays blocked. I learned something through all of this. Family isn't about blood. It's about respect. It's about showing up. It's about meaning it when you say you care. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Your receipts can say everything. So here's my question for you. Would you have given them anything just to keep the peace? Or were the boundaries the right call? Tell me in the comments. I really want to know what you think. And if this story hit home, please subscribe. There are more stories like this one, and I think you'll want to hear them. One last thing. Keep your receipts. Document everything. You never know when you'll need them. This has been a fictionalized dramatization based on real experiences. It is not legal or financial advice. If you're facing something similar, talk to a licensed professional in your area. Thank you for listening.